Here we are. Welcome to Seizing Today. And the idea came by just like the simple thought that I was having while I was meditating, like how the best time is now. And present moment is something that we can make the best out of, whether we are having the time of our lives or we're going to crisis. You can start now, you can get out of it, or you can just stay over there. So that's going to be the name of the series for vlog and podcast. And for the very first episode, we have a good friend of mine. She's a Yemeni American. She grew up in Saudi for first 10 years of her life and she's been in the US ever since. And we're going to discuss like how it's going with her experiences and everything. My friend Khadija Bawazir. How's it going, Khadija?
This is great. After how long I think we were trying to get the audio, but this is great. Yeah, this is fun. This is very new. I feel very nervous and shy. But no, this is good. This is good. Yeah, thanks for letting me be the first person to be on your podcast. Oh, closer? Okay. All right. So I hope you could hear me. But yeah, I think yeah, I lived in Saudi for 8 years. And this was like after Noura was born. Then we moved. So you can still hear me. Okay, so I need to have it like to my lips, basically.
Yeah, not too far. But yeah, try not to speak too softly.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing I'm having a hard time working on is I think my music teacher tells me to like sing louder and I'm just like, this is as loud as I go. And I remember, I think like with the mics, I had one of my coworkers, he took me for a ride on his plane, his dad's plane. And he's like, you have to have it literally on your lips, the mic. And I'm just like, well, seriously, like it's 2025. How do we have to like have them that close? But okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything you want me to talk about specifically or?
Yeah, like with the mic thing and also about the singing. So when it comes to singing or anything vocal, you have to use a little bit of your energy because a lot of the times I've been noticing, especially with how I speak and how I do something when it's like vocal or maybe singing, it's very different. A lot of times when I'm having conversation, it's mostly I'm just talking in my head and it's coming out as like soft and murmuring instead of like actually paying attention and using my like diaphragm to actually talk so that it comes clearly. A lot of us like talk nasal, like even I'm talking nasal because I'm not really using it fully. So I think that's that. And there are mics. These ones are different. They are condenser mics, so they only take whatever is in front of them. Like at the back will get filtered out. So you can get the best quality of voice. So yeah, I just wanted to start and ask about your experiences, considering you come from a mixed background. What it was like, especially when you were growing up. I think you were born in the U.S. and your initial first 8 years, as per you, were in Saudi. So being from this background of like American and Yemeni in Saudi, how was it like? And especially, it's like, how do they treated you? What it was like? What your initial years were like?
It was awesome. I think being a kid in Saudi, it was great. Cause so after I was born, I think when I was 2, Noura was born and then we moved to Saudi. So we lived in Riyadh first and my dad's family was mostly primarily in Jeddah. And then, so we lived there. I went to a school. I hated it. It was just very, very strict. I didn't really have many friends. The only thing I really just enjoyed outside of the school was just being at home and, the people, because we lived in a compound. And so we had some other American families that were living in the same compound. And I remember one of the kids' names was Alex. No, 2 of them, Alex and Michael. They were really cool, and I had a ball as a kid in Saudi, in Riyadh, except for school. I hated it. It was an all girls school, so there were no boys anywhere. Loki, don't chew on that. Hey. Okay. Um, and so I really don't think I had much of an understanding as to, the dynamics culturally between just, men and women interactions, whatever. Like, that didn't really matter. But then I think eventually we moved from Riyadh to Jeddah, and that's where my dad's, mostly his family is, residing now. And it was fun. I loved it. Every Thursday the family came over. We went to the Baqala, which was just like, the convenience store across, and, we'd play games and stuff like that. The only thing I just didn't like was school. I hated it. My teachers were very mean to me. And I got bullied a lot from like just kids because I'm like the American. Noura, like, luckily she had another American girl in her classroom. And so she was fine. I was the only one. I was like, this life sucks for 8 hours. I don't know how many hours a day are we in school for, but I don't know, 8 hours a day in school. I'm like, this sucks. I wasn't really good in math, like, to be honest. But I did have some teachers who were very encouraging. I think one teacher I really like, and she was actually the first teacher who actually saw me. Her name was Miss Rola. So there was this book, I think. No, not this book. Yeah, okay, so let me start over a bit. I'm a little all over the place. My grandma, before she died, she gave me, and this is my mom's mom, she gave me the nickname Hattie. I don't know. Connection. Khadija, Hattie. Okay.
Khadija, Hattie. I don't know, maybe it's like somewhere close.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I don't know why I'm only now putting this together after you said it. But so she gave me that nickname, and then my teacher, Mrs. Rola, I don't know how she found out my nickname. I think because maybe she interacted with my mom a few times, and so she found this book because she was my English teacher, and it was called Hattie, the Backstage Bat. And then she didn't tell me. And I just remember sitting in the classroom, and then she was passing out the book, and I just like looked at the title. I was like, oh my God. And I looked at her, and she's like, yeah, I know. And so she was one of my favorite teachers. But eventually we had to leave Saudi because my dad did not want us growing up in Saudi. I think he just I want my girls to get a good education. I want them to live in the United States, go to college there. My mom did not want us growing up in the United States. She's like, it's an experiment. I've seen it in the 60s, 70s. It's not great. So she didn't want us going through that. I definitely was not happy to leave because, I did not get to hang out with any of my cousins. When I came here, I had a really hard time transitioning because I was not used to interacting with boys in school. That was just very strange. And then to top it off was even harder. I think that actually like made me cry because in Saudi, when it's the days, school's done, there are drivers that come up to, the front of the school, and they go up to the guy with the microphone, and they're like shouting your name, like Khadija Bawazir, like I'm looking for them. And so we're all kind of like a bunch of students, like we're all in this common room, and we're sitting on the ground, and we're waiting to hear our name being called on the microphone. And then when you hear your name, you're like, okay, I got to go to my driver. He's outside. And it's just this crowd of cars outside, the school calling for the kids that they're supposed to picking up. And so then coming to here in the United States, they're like, you got to find your bus. And I was like, what? I have to find my bus? What is that? I cried. I freaked out. I think I had like maybe a mini panic attack because I just saw all these yellow buses. I was like, they all look the same. And so I had a hard time transitioning to the United States. I don't know. Looks like you wanted to say something.
No, yeah, that's pretty interesting, especially about the school stuff that you were telling me about. I was trying to envision how it is like I was picturing those things as to how it would be, considering at that time it was very much segregated, like in terms of gender too, like very strict. And again, as per your like how your mom was saying, United States being an experiment. I was like, every goddamn thing out there is experiment. Some of it's like very confined. Some of it is very, like I would say, free. And when it's free and you're free to do everything, then it becomes a little bit risky. But a lot of good things can come out of it, along with the challenges. So that's what I feel is like the free world also is an experiment, just like these socialist, communists, and all other kind of ideas that are being implemented are experiments. But I would say like there should be a little bit of flexibility. So yeah, growing up mixed, like me being mixed and me growing up in India, that was very different too, considering, especially if you look different than 99% of the people out there. It's like they made me believe that I was white. Like over there. It's like, but yeah, that's just how it is. People pick on you sometimes for just being different, and kids, they don't know better. It's like, oh, we are animals at the end of the day, so we have to be conditioned since childhood as to what is right, what is wrong, how to behave. So yeah, some of it was bullying too, but as a kid, I was standing out too, and people in general liked me besides all the bullying and everything. So that was very different. And compared to you, like I came to the U.S. quite later on, not as a kid. I would have adjusted fine too because we were not that segregated and it was not that strict growing up over there. So, and I don't know like how people were being treated in Saudi at that time. So, from that point to like when you came back, and let's say you came back at like 9 or 10. Yeah, like at that age, and you lived in a certain kind of an environment with certain kind of people that you would mostly relate with and hang out with till I would say you were like 25, and then you started um, exploring the world in a very different lens too, right? After your first relationship, that marriage, I would say. Yeah, before that it was very much socially your circle, the people that you would hang out with, they were very like-minded, and the people who were slightly different or like even much more different was somewhat limited, like in a circle, in like in a bubble. So how was it like? Because I would say that's like a whole second inning of life when you go through all that and you see the world in a different with a different lens. Because I think before your first marriage you were also living with your parents too, like you did not have that sort of independence. So socially I would say even I was a little late bloomer when it comes to like being social and independent. So talk about that.
Oh, yeah, I can hold it. Yeah, I mean, after we came back from Saudi, we moved. I think we moved to a few places in Minnesota, but lived in up north in East Bethel, Anoka area. But I think maybe the group of people that you're talking about were just mostly college people. I think when I first started college, I was a hermit. I really just went from school to home, school to home, school to home. And my dad actually kind of got sick of that. He's like, "You need to be more social. Go out, you know." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to." And I only got to know the group of people that we have that I know now through Noura, because Noura was more social. And so I think the first person I got to know was Naima. I met her at the mosque at MCTC. And then I think Devyani and Rashid were actually in one of my communications class. And I just thought like Rashid was hilarious. And Devyani, I was like, I don't know what to do with her. But no, Devyani is amazing. Yeah. And then I think eventually when I kind of got to know our group slowly, I still kind of just chose to keep to myself. I remember actually like going home and Dina, you know, everyone was hanging out in the Skyway and Dina was like, she's always going home. And I'm just like, I don't care to be social right now. I just like my alone time. And then actually my dad, Noura and Wafa, I think this was when our entire group, this was, I think, before you came into the picture. They were all going to go bowling and go see a movie. And my dad forced me to go out with Noura and Wafa and everyone. I was like, oh, fine, I'll go out. But yeah, I think I just kind of, I didn't really know. I don't know if I had much of a perspective really. I think I just kind of, stayed amongst, you know, the Muslim community. But I mean, a lot of the people in our group were not, some of them were not even Muslim. We had maybe one random white guy, a Latino guy, and a few Indians or something, you know. I guess I really didn't know what I was looking for at the time. And in that group, I think I found my first ex-husband, you know, and I think he appealed to me. You know, I was like, oh, okay, easy Muslim guy, you know. I think he definitely was very good at speaking, you know, and there are some things that appealed to me that I didn't know if I would associate necessarily with a Muslim guy or any guy from the Middle East or whatever. I really had no clue really about anything. So I was kind of an idiot about a lot of things. Who is not? I still kind of am. I feel like I'm still kind of an idiot now, but at least I acknowledge it. Yeah. I mean, everyone is, you know, on their own path, which is something I've had to learn, and it sucks. I've hated having to be a little honest with myself these last few years. I hate it. It's a lot of lessons and a lot of behaviors that need to change when you become honest with yourself. But I'm just trying to remember one of the questions that you asked me about my perspective.
Yeah, from how it started to where you are now and being independent a little much later in life.
Oh yeah, no, I was never independent. I mean, I think everyone kind of put me in this category of miskina, like poor little Khadija. She needs to be taken care of. And I think I had, for some reason, I'm just like, all right, well, I guess everyone knows me so well, so I think I need to live up to that title. And I think I was living up to titles that everyone gave me, including my ex-husband, and then even the second one. You know, I went from college to marriage and then to another marriage. I don't think I really had much of actually, between my first marriage and my second marriage, I did have like 3 years where I was single, but I did not do really much soul searching. I really didn't. I just was in school. I didn't even really think much about relationships, even though I wanted to be in one. But I think the one thing, God, I wish I actually knew this now or back then, was intention. I wish I knew my intentions back then, had a better understanding of them, because I think that would have helped me a lot.
Intentions as in?
Why am I dating, for instance? You know, am I dating because I feel like I'm lacking something? Am I bored? Am I looking for a distraction or whatever? You know, am I trying to fill a need that perhaps I could just do myself? You know, and is it because I feel like I'm not valuable enough, so I need to get that from someone else to make me feel valuable? Am I not happy alone? I never thought to ask myself those questions, you know, and so, I mean, the last, I'm going to say, couple of years, I've, you know, started to ask myself, all right, what is your intention? And it's just with anything. If I'm buying some food, if I'm buying a plant, you know, what is my intention? Am I trying to, you know, make my place look more green than my sister's place? No, I like plants, you know, it's nature, and, you know, it makes you...
That's a real one, right?
Yeah, these are all real. Okay. It's funny because, like, I've thought of actually putting one at my office, and they have... Clean. Yeah. I spray him every morning. Yeah. And then I, like, you know, like pruned him a bit, and then I have like these little baby ones growing. But yeah, intention has been a huge eye opener.
So you mentioning about being like hermit-like since childhood, and was This due to the fact that you grew up in Saudi and being a little segregated, it was very different, and your life was kind of like you mentioned. It was you did not enjoy school and the people over there.
Oh yeah, no, oh okay, yeah, my teachers were assholes except for Miss Rolla. She's amazing. I miss her. If she's out there, you know where to find me. um, I don't think it had anything to do with the segregation. I think it was some of the treatment of some of the teachers and even some of the students. And so I guess I kind of felt like, yeah, I felt like, okay, I can't be myself, so I guess I should just kind of be by myself, and do my own thing. I still interacted with like my cousins and, other kids in the compound and stuff. I had fun, but I think when it came to just, I don't know, being more of myself, I didn't do that as much. I think a lot of people, I think who've known me, everyone at MCTC, I'm so different. Like Mukhtar, oh my God, him. He he tried so hard to get me to come out of my shell, and it was, I don't know, it was never happening. But he sees a different version of me now. A lot of it has to do with the treatment of the teachers back in the school, and maybe even from other environments, that just kind of really bogged my personality down. And I just felt like, oh, I just don't really care to interact with people. Why? You know? So.
Okay. Yeah, at a young age, I think if certain things they happen to you, they stick with you for like a very long time and they affect your behavior for quite a good time. Unless you recognize that and you decide to change on it, because I always had friends growing up, but it came to a certain point where I became like very rebellious, and that caused a lot of issues with the kids in the class, to the point like I was only hanging out with very very selected few. Like one time, like I think I was in 7th grade, it came to a point where like I believe like 90% of the class decided that they're gonna boycott me. And then I have like group of like 12 people who decided to side with me. It was like class of 36 to 40 people.
Why all of a sudden they're gonna boycott you? Why? Why you?
Boycott me because I kind of stood up for myself. I never cared about like the status quo, authority, or anything. And if somebody is accusing me of something I did not do, I'm not backing down like even 1 inch. So what happened was like, when teachers they go out, or like, from one period to another, you're going in between, your teacher is not there. They take time, so students, they do whatever the hell they want to do. So somebody might have been I don't know, fighting or something, and we had like this board where kids would make whatever and put it up there. So on one side, like somebody's footprint went over there. I might have passed by through that. It was not me, not mine or anything. So people started accusing like it's there and everything, and they wanted me to clean. And it's like, you did it, you didn't. It's like, well, I did not do it. I'm not gonna clean it. So teacher went there and she did that by herself. And those bootlickers on those kind of people like pets. Just like, ma'am, why are you doing this? No. Then after a while, they're like, he does not respect teachers, this and that. He's going all out. We're not gonna talk to him. I was like, yeah, go screw yourself. It's like, hey man, you should have just asked. But if you're gonna accuse me of something I did not do, and that still stayed with me, that yeah, I will not take it nicely if somebody accuses me of something that I have no intention doing or I did not do, and they keep pointing at me. Yeah, so that led to boycott, and that affected my studies and everything. I think that changed the course of my life a great deal. I started hanging out with wrong crowd. I was a good student. Never liked school though, but I was still a good student. I became bad after that, and somehow I managed to do a little bit better. But yeah, that was that.
Yeah, no, I never hung out with the. Thankfully, I never hung out with the wrong crowd. I did do stupid things, like I think stupid things for love. Got me in trouble with my family. Um, it happens, and I think I was just very. I feel like that the things I did could have been applied somewhere else as opposed to love, because I was not ready for it. It was not something I needed to actually like live on my own for a while. The person actually who grew up faster was Wafa in the family. She was determined. She's like, I'm gonna get out of here. Nura and I think were the ones who moved out of the house late, and Wafa is the youngest of 3 girls, and so there's 4 of us, and so Wafa's second the youngest. And so she got her own apartment. She got a job. She was doing everything. She was building her own life outside of the house. And Noor and I were still at home. And I admire her for that. She really worked hard. And I was just, too scared to do that. It's like, it's a very scary world out there. Because I think maybe for a little bit before I married my ex-husband, my first one, what happened? I was living in an apartment in Minneapolis somewhere, not in the best place of Minneapolis, but I got a studio apartment. It was not in the greatest area. And yeah, I think I was there for a few months, and this was because the relationship, it was, a long distance relationship, because he was doing work and stuff. And then I think when communication was not great between us and stuff like that, and he was just kind of ghosting me and stuff, and it wasn't really great. So then I kind of moved back home, and I got someone to take over the rest of my lease, because that area was crazy. I heard a couple screaming and arguing, and then there was this one guy who was very nice enough, because I think I was sitting on the stairs, like either waiting for something, or I was just nervous, and I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen. There's just a lot of chaos in this building. And there's one guy, he just came down the hall, and he's like, don't worry, they do this all the time. And I'm like, okay, thank you. I'm just a nervous person. But yeah, gosh, I admire you for, standing up for yourself at quite a young age. I never did. I just cried. And my teachers were not really helpful. I just Nura was fine in school. I think Nura might tell a different story, but I actually, from the podcast that I did with Nura painted a different story. And I was like, really? You look like you enjoyed it. Your teachers were nice to you. You didn't get smacked. And yeah, I got smacked a lot. Yeah, and everyone knows me. I'm nice. I don't try to be mean to anyone. I think I was folding over my pages in my book, and I remember my teacher, she just came over to me, and she yelled at me for doing that. And I was like, because I was not even paying attention to who was in front of me. I was looking at this one girl who was sitting behind me, or maybe she was sitting next to me, and she was kind of folding her book pages over almost like a flower. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. I should try that. And then I did it. And then she came and talked to me, and she got really mad and pissy. And so I got in trouble. And then there was another time where I just had a question. And this was during art class in Saudi. So this was all in the school in Riyadh. I don't I remember some pieces about the school in Jeddah and at the Lebanese school, but at the art class at the school in Riyadh, I think we were doing something, and I had a question. And so I went up to the teacher, and I was asking her a question. I think I brought whatever it was I was doing. And I could be remembering this wrong, but she just got so mad and angry. And then she kind of picked me up by the scruff of my t-shirt and just yelled at me. And then I remember her pointing at me and then saying something to the class. And I think that's probably also part of what has made me so quiet. I'm just like, okay, I can't ask questions. And actually what's funny is I recently, this was in April. I went to go visit my junior high school math teacher. And he recognized, because I always have a hard time asking questions. I'm very scared to ask people for things. And he was so nice to me, Mr. Robinette, best math teacher I've ever had. He recognized that I had such a hard time asking questions. Like if I didn't understand something, he was so polite. He saw that in me, and I was so grateful for him for that. Yeah. So don't be an asshole teacher is the lesson here.
Don't be an asshole teacher, you said?
Don't be an asshole teacher.
Oh man. Now that I like look back at my life and how rebellious and everything I have been, I feel really bad for my teachers or teachers in general because like, you can keep up with your child because it's someone, but when it's someone else's child and you got to keep up with their tantrums and like their nonsense, it's like, how do you deal with that? Not just one, but like 30 of them. And yeah, when I was like 15, 16, oh my God. I feel really bad for them, especially me being like so like rebellious and everything, anti status quo, or like I don't know, just I don't know why I always wanted to do this revolution kind of thing. Sometimes sometimes I go to my Facebook and I just like say sorry to some of my teachers, and sometimes I always say like you guys were kind of like very suppressive too. It's just like not everybody is going to be a yes man. Some people are creative. Some people are like out there. They are here to do something in this world. Not everybody is just going to go like a lab rat. It's like you try to suppress us. I wrote that down on a teacher. I don't know. She also had this kind of realization, and she put it on Facebook. Like, I hope you understand why we were like this and that. And it was like, yeah, man, I don't blame you. India was going through that kind of time. Like, it was just darkness at that point of time in people's lives. But, creative people like me and people who had some like rebellion in them because they wanted to do something, we are never appreciated. So this is always going to be like my, how do you say, complain? Not even complain. What's the good word for complain? That what it was. She did not really say anything. Just like the comment. No, not even like, just like, you should not have done it. It's like in that kind of like, it was always good. Whatever it is. I mean, what's the point of having a regret either? It just happened, we're just going through it. Our environment, our hormones, like all of these things, they play a role. So yeah, it's school. I never liked school. Maybe I enjoyed it when it came to like dealing with like subjects that I like history and all those things. But other than that, I did not. It's just like watching TV. Like you only go to channels that you like. Why do you want to watch something that bores you up? So that's how I see school too. It's just like if I have something of interest, I'll just go it. I will study it, and I'll do it for like my own satisfaction, for my own craving. I don't even care about the test or anything. I'm just going there because I like this. I like to explore things that I like or something that catches my attention. Um, Also, like, especially that you mentioned that, you moved out to the studio and everything. And last interaction I remember, also around at that time, around 2015, you were also considering your life choices and the faith and everything. You sort of kind of struggled with it, whether you want to be in it or not, or you want to explore it. So, how much of that has changed, and how do you see faith in your life at this point compared to how it began to where you are now, and what do you see like the scope of it in future? So now that you have discovered in a different light, especially being your own person, like discovering your individuality. So an individual will have their own independent way of looking into things instead of how it was when you were a kid. I mean, I was never like that. I would just say, I don't like it. It's like, boycott me if you want to. I don't like it.
Yeah, so that is actually a really good question. Because I mean, grew up Muslim. I mean, my mom converted for my dad. And I actually asked her, I was like, Mom, did you actually study any of it or read any of it? She's like, no, I took your dad's opinion, and I just trusted. I figured he knew what he was, And I was like, wow, okay. But again, no, alhamdulillah, she's, Muslim and stuff like that. I'm grateful. I did not, I don't know. I believed what I was told, as a kid, Allah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, fasting Ramadan, this is haram, that's haram, this is halal, this is not halal, and stuff like that. And for anyone who doesn't know what haram and halal is, go look it up. I'll just say go look it up. Or it's like what's forbidden, what's not forbidden. But there were some things like I heard either on the radio. I remember I was in the car with my dad one time, and it was something, I think I was like 11, and I heard something saying that they killed so-and-so people because they decided not to be Muslim. And that like kind of, triggered something in my head where I was like, what? Like, this was when I was 11, I think, in the car. And my dad's like, these guys. And I think my dad just was maybe not in the mood to talk at the time. So, I mean, he's dropping us at school and stuff like that. And so there's a lot going on. But there were little moments that there were things that just like stuck in my head for years. And I was just like, does it really say that? But honestly, all those years, I never took time to actually go and look it up. I just was used to people saying, oh, so-and-so said that this is haram, or this is how you have to pray, or whatever. Like, and even my ex-husbands, they would voice their opinions, and say that this is what this says. But I'll say maybe perhaps they may have be a bit more educated than me, but maybe not in the way that... No, I don't... Yeah, I feel like everyone's it's just like telephone kharban, or like telephone, it's just what everyone is just telling you, from childhood, from your elders. And you just like, okay, yeah, this must be true because everyone's saying it, like there's a hadith, and I learned, I think I looked this up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I did look it up. So it's a hadith, and my ex-husband had used this on me, and I know some people that their ex-husbands had used this on them that said, like, if you don't, what is it? If you don't submit to your husband, if you don't submit to your husband, for his sexual needs, then the angels will curse you throughout the night, and it's like, and I remember and this was the time, like, when you could tell me something, like, you could say, the Khadija, the sky is green. I'm like, really? Okay, maybe it's just reflecting off of something. I guess that's probably true. I just like, okay, if this is true, I don't know if I want to be a Muslim anymore, because, like, my dad would say so many times, like, Islam is very, for women's rights and stuff like that. And I believe him, but then, like, I hear stuff coming from my, ex-husbands, and I just felt like something doesn't seem right. But even at that time, I never really took, the time to go and study it, and this is like, okay, so 2013, 2011, 2013, and then 2017, and I think because the way that my relationships have, started and how they fell apart, I guess that kind of got me looking inward, and I'm like, all right, well, again, I guess it kind of goes back to intention. I'm like, I also know that I'm guilty of just, touting stuff and being like, yeah, this is haram, don't do that, with me not knowing jack shit about anything. My religion is very important to me. I'm still learning. Like, I just started reading, like, one of the hadith books that my dad gave me, and I understand some of it. I don't understand all of it, but, and I think I was talking with, who was I talking with? I was talking with Noura yesterday. It's just like, medicine, we go to the doctor can, kind of represent the sheikh, and you're asking him all these questions and everything, and sometimes you're not fully satisfied with the prescription he gives you. But you're also not willing to go, create a health diary and, like, keep track of your symptoms and really understand your body's physiology. And then you get frustrated and you're like, fuck medicine. fuck pharmacology, screw doctors and stuff. And I think everyone's just, I don't want to say everyone, but I think most of us are just too lazy to actually go, really sit with our thoughts and like, what are they trying to say here? And okay, what was the history behind this quote? I do worry actually. I mean, alhamdulillah, I'm grateful where I am right now in my place of understanding my religion and, knowing it, because I feel like it has grounded me a bit more. But I guess I do worry that I'm like, okay, I hope this is consistent going into the future. Like, that is my biggest fear. Sasha is going to walk in front of the camera, so just letting you know. That's fine.
It's okay.
We have a surprise guest. Sasha, come here. Come here. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, like somewhat, but okay, yeah, that's interesting. We all go through some of these crises.
Yeah.
Especially also like you come in from a certain kind of background. It is very one way. It is still like Islam is quite still like a new religion compared to like others, and it still has to go like a long way right now. The way like I see these things and religion at a very young age, like I was not religious or anything, considering like how my family is. They were like me being born in a mixed marriage and like having these different worlds, understanding it. At a very young age, I kind of like got obsessed with like knowing these things. I was never into God or like never being religious, but I was just obsessing over like knowing these things, like all the mythology I could read. The Hindu one, I went crazy on Buddha too, Muhammad at one point in time, and yeah, during the COVID time, like I started writing, and I was just meditating on all this stuff because I really took a deep dive for years and years, like at least 20 years. I was just following this curiosity as to what it is. I would say like what unites human beings is like a common story and a certain kind of God. And that is also like an idea and a concept. Islamic population, they have their own story and they derive different lessons from it. Life of Muhammad and his companions. Christians will do it with Jesus and his disciples. Buddhists will have theirs. Ancient Rome, they had their whole lot of gods, all cool, jacked up and everything. I like that time period. So yeah, I would say like it's stories that really matter. And sometimes we need to see the truth in the stories instead of taking stories as the truth. Because you cannot directly say the truth as it is. Sometimes you have to sprinkle some magic over it, some miracles over it, and all those kind of things. But from what I have seen with like, especially also from the Jewish and Christian perspective, because they tell these stories very differently compared to how Islam tells it. And from what I see, how Abraham, Adam, and all these people are talked about, it's more about, again, they were rebels. It's like so you know what they call wife of President of United States? First Lady? No, what the title of it is like First Lady. It's like, why she's the First Lady? Because she's like representing this whole population. Yeah, they're the leaders. So the first was Adam. They would probably call it like the man or whatever. So they probably like rebelled with the group of these slaves or something, and then they were like thrown out in the fields, most likely. And since you cannot say it like directly, that's how everything has been. Like Abraham, like the Hebrew name the story started like he left Ur, which is like Mesopotamia, probably around Iraq right now. He started with like name Abram. Avram, which meant, like in slang, like big father, big daddy. Later on, he came to be known as Avram, Abraham, which is like father to many. So like when you see even like very totalitarian systems, they ended up being like father figures. Like Stalin became a father figure in communist Russia. Like they end up being, if somebody stays in power for too long, people start to relate with them more and more, and they take this role. So these people were just like in rebels. So how do you say like why they were doing this? They were probably listening to their inner voice, and the inner voice of Abraham, he called it Eloi. Yeah, Elohim, Elohi, which sort of like ended up being Allah, is like what to say, like Ilaha, Ilallah is like no, yeah, no. Like there's still some God really I don't think has a name. It's just basically these people following their inner self, whatever their heart told them, they followed that and they were leading it. So most likely they were like vagabonds going place to place, and that's what Jewish story is all about. Like all these, like even Moses, what was he doing? He was leading these slaves, and he, you know, had this movement where, you know, he was leading people out of suppression. So like yeah, that's how I see it, and it became something. And in modern world, we can still keep these stories from all these different cultures and learn something about it. There's a certain universal wisdom that carries in each and every of these religions. I don't know. These are just like operating systems from what I see. Compared to like how Eastern ones are. They are filled with gods and different kind of princes and princesses. Like Buddha was a prince. Like he had everything, but he still kind of rebelled in a way. It's like, I don't know. So yeah, just that's just how I see it, and it opened my perspective. And basically everything is in this world. All the ideas and products, they're just packaging and promotion. It's like selling a story.
Yeah, I can see that. Trying to like think about, I guess, my. I mean, I guess I didn't really know what I was looking for, but I guess I just felt like I had to kind of get back to something, and I didn't even give it a chance. I felt guilty, like, for a while I wasn't praying, and my dad, mashallah, I'm very grateful for him. He's very easy to talk to. Like I went to the house crying. I was like, I've done all this stuff. I haven't prayed. And he's like, Khadija, do you think that, Allah really cares about whether or not you prayed? He's like, that's for you, and it's not like, he's like, oh, she didn't pray today. I don't feel loved, clearly. I think, when someone gives you like a product, and they're like, here are all these things that it can do. So they created this amazing thing. It can do all these things. It can do one thing, not entirely perfect, And I think us being just humans, and hopefully I explain this correctly because it sounds good in my head. So let me see if I can say this is, I offered you my lap, but you didn't want it before. Whore. Yeah, I'm just talking to. Yeah, I'm just talking to my cat because she's just being. Okay, here, come here, sit. All right, sit. Sit on my lap. Come here, yalla. She's being picky. See, I told you this was gonna happen because she can be this way. She's like, okay, then she's gone. All right. Oh, so I guess it can do all these things, all like 10 different things perfectly, except for all 9 things perfectly except for 10. And so, but I mean, me feeling like I want to do all 10 things perfectly, and I get so disappointed. I get anxious. I get depressed. I get irritated. But I mean, if someone says, but I told you that it's only going to do 9 things perfectly, but the 10th thing not, then you're not going to stress yourself out. And so I think that's kind of what I was looking for, especially when I went and talked to my dad, about I was struggling with, and because I just needed something, to start kind of just be my center. And it kind of started with that and just being a little curious, I think everyone just usually takes religion, organized religion, or anything like too seriously, or not too seriously, but I think they judge it without really, without, you're not, I don't think you're supposed to take it seriously. I mean, I'm still new, so I really can't really say anything for sure, because I don't want to like, oh, she said that. And I'm like, I'm also not a sheikh. I'm just learning for me. Okay. I just like my health. I took, control of my health. I had to learn about a lot of things, and it's been a sucky, long journey, trying to get my health situated. I had to do a lot of homework. I didn't want to. But if I was going to get anywhere with any of these doctors that I'm listening, talking to, or going to make an appointment with, I need to come with some backup, because they're just, like, oh, okay, well, we can treat it with this, but that's really just masking the symptoms. So, I mean, I think it just helps with anyone just really get curious about, kind of your background. And that's actually what has really helped me. Like, I found myself slowly getting, more into wearing abayas sometimes, to work, even though that was a little nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to wear abaya to work. But there are Somali girls at my work, but they don't wear like abaya, like the ones in Saudi, but they just wear like the regular, I don't know what they call it. I can't remember, but it's just a entire, I don't want to say sheet, but it is a sheet. But yeah, I think you just kind of have to get curious and kind of take that bias out if you're going to get into something, Yeah, I've gone and explored some worlds that I was like, this is very weird, but I'm trying to be not judgmental about it. I'm not going to go there again. It was a one-time thing.
So yeah, like on that, like how people struggle sometimes, and I would completely understand why it's like some people come back and try to see things in a different light, because like this is something that they grew up with. It's stuck with them. It became like a part of their identity, like core identity, and it's not easy. But at the same time, I would say like it's important to be a better you first. And the more you are in touch with yourself and your feelings, and you're working on it, and you are close to your inner self, I think the closer God will come to you. You will be able to have a clear inner voice that would lead you into something. So, it's your consciousness that has to be honest and upright. Like you should be able to see what you're doing, why you're doing something, and what are probably the consequences that are gonna come out of it. Because what you feel is most important, like especially mentally. Then you'll be able to take right actions and make right decisions for yourself. And I lost a little track of as to where I was going to go, especially in these lines, with the religion and everything. I mean, yeah, from like one good thing that happened with me is like nothing was ever forced on us, especially in childhood. Just like, yeah, maybe like one or two festivals, yeah, you do whatever you do like for like 10 minutes, then you go. Nobody's like really forcing on you. It's just like how it is in US now, especially with the whites and Christians. Like some of them are pretty laid back, some of them they stayed very true to their culture. So yeah, it's all about like exploration at the end of the day. And also like especially I completely understand with like how my Muslim peeps go through in every different situation, because they all have different kinds of life, and how they started and how they ended up, their faith is still important to them, but they are in a different point in their life. They sort of became their own person. They know how to like see things in the right light according to them. But on the greater scale, everybody's It's a whole comedy. So people should not get like too serious about these things. Like if you, I think it was Charlie Chaplin who said that. If you keep concentrating, then life becomes a tragedy. If you like see from the far, like it's a comedy. So like zoom out a little bit, watch yourself. Like don't take yourself and things around you that seriously, because like at the end of the day, it'll all be gone. You should just like live, do your best. You know, give your best, do your best. It, try to make the most out of it. Like you never know when your time will be gone. So this world is just a big circus. Same goes with history. People fighting over for nothing. So like whenever you see like you're getting frustrated and everything, just zoom out, watch yourself. Like it's like, why am I doing this thing? What am I taking stress for? It's just watch yourself. Like what you're doing is like, yeah, come back with fresh mind. Like same with like these things. And I would say like faith is sort of important for a lot of people. It gives them like a source of strength, and whatever they want to call it, like whatever name they want to give it, it's just like whatever empowers them in the right way, in the most positive way, of course. Even though I don't agree with like any of that, and at this point of time in my life, I get like why people do what they do, and now the challenge is as to like I still have whatever 4 or 5 decades. I should be able to live to like 80 something. So like, and also fit. So yeah, just it's going to be interesting because now I see things in life in much clearer perspective. I still get carried away. I just need to not watch social media and dumbasses of social media because they will get my reaction. I just want to be in peace, like with my peace of mind. Yeah.
I think it's funny because, I mean, social media is like has been actually a way for us to connect, but this is gonna sound dumb. Look, you don't chew on that, okay? Um, it's a place where everyone wants to be seen, and we're so focused on being seen by a bunch of people we have no idea. But I think, and this is me going into a religious, like the only person I think you should be seen by is God, basically. Because I think, look, I mean, there's no one, we're all on the same level. Well, we all have skin, we all have blood. Like there's nothing on this earth that is, there's no alien, who's like, I have blue blood. There's no what do you call it? Avatar. Yeah, there's no creature like that that's separate. And so I think the only thing that you really can turn to is God or Allah or Buddha or, dare I say it, Jesus Christ. Even though we believe in him as, a prophet in Islam. But yeah, I mean, you kind of have to believe in something bigger than yourself. And I think, I mean, when you go, I've gone to meditation. I went to one meditation class. It was actually very peaceful, and they had this chant, like something along the lines of, I will be nice to people and not judge and all these other things and stuff like that.
It's like thoughts that you keep on repeating.
Yeah.
And, like, eventually takes over you.
I feel like so far what I'm learning, and I'm not trying to say everyone convert to Islam, okay, because then it's all of a sudden going to be a trend and everyone's going to be wearing abayas. I was like, that's not the point, okay? Everyone feels like they have to make everything a trend. It's like, no, everyone is seeking something, I mean, that's kind of what we're here for, to seek something outside of ourselves. And I mean, my mom says it, she's like, when you look at the people in Palestine, like they're in hell. But they're still saying alhamdulillah, they're still, thankful to God and everything, and here we are, we're like, just chill, just feel the vibes, and just eat hummus, even though, I don't know. But I'm definitely not going to judge anyone for, whatever makes you feel happy, whatever makes you peaceful, that's totally fine. I'm not going to judge you because everyone is completely on their own path. And, but I think it just helps maybe to have some curiosity about your background, because I think that's where it starts. But I will say this, that the people who initially taught us, like, God, the worst place to learn about Islam is at school. Horrible school, I'm sure.
I've been to that.
You went there?
Not to study.
Oh.
I went to that building a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to that building a couple of times. I've seen the group activities Alamal School does. If it comes out and goes viral, don't sue me.
Okay.
I've been to their library and like there was one book glorifying Muammar Gaddafi as like some mystic in desert or something, and I was like, that dude is super hedonistic. Like he was calling like the native population of like those North Africans. So they're not Arabs per se. They got Arabized. They're called amazing, whatever. They have their own culture, language. They have their tattoos that they do and everything. He was like, whatever you call yourself, keep it to yourself. You could be children of Satan. I don't care. Just like follow whatever we're told. So yeah, I mean, man, it's just gangs. The world is run by a bunch of gangs, and yeah, we're if we're not supposed to criticize them or anything, they're sacred. Like yeah, you got ruled by them. It's like much respect to them. You know, there's always some sort of positive in that. But one thing that I would definitely suggest you is to like explore some more. You did with like with the meditation and everything, like how I explored in my life. It's like even though I do not agree with 3 4 ideologies, like at this point barely any. Yeah, but I took a deep dive into it to the point like I know way too much. Being a non-Muslim, I knew way too much for somebody who's non-Muslim and he knows about like Islam in terms of its history and the stories and everything. But like that's for my own probably like my intellectual curiosity and like I just went there. But these are just consciousness as like different cultures, how they operate, how they do what they do socially, what's acceptable to them, how they think, what their essence is. So I really like to explore all these things, people's history, people's like what they are about, what their art is like, um, what kind of food they eat. So I try to see like how they think and how they perceive life. A lot of people like so much seasoning and everything. They want flavor in almost everything, and then their conversations become like that. Like a lot of like white people, Nordic country, their food is salt and pepper, man. But they're pretty clear. They're to the point. Whenever they're speaking, man, if I'm speaking to somebody from like those countries, it's to the point. It's pretty clear. Meanwhile, if I speak to some Indian Arab and everything, man, they'll just go like this. Way too much flavor going on. Italians, you can still do that, but they're very expressive because they've been adding a lot of seasoning too. Japanese people are pretty straightforward. Their seasonings are pretty pretty simple too. It's fun, but yeah, I like to see like their thought process and everything. And I think everybody, I've said a lot of hateful things for a lot of people, but I think everybody in the end is beautiful. Like, you know, individuals are good. Nobody's completely bad or good, even as a herd. Like you can find a lot of artsy, nice people, good people. They might not be very vocal because like, every community, every country, everybody have some gangs in them and they impose and like, everybody loves their life, so they cannot really do anything. And to people like normal people, their families, they matter, their society, they matters, they connect with them. So even if something is not agreeing with them, they'll choose to just shut up. So a lot of people are just like closet whatever they are, atheists. Maybe they don't believe that much, or if they don't really take it out. So yeah, I mean, also I would suggest you to explore a little bit about like Taoism. It's very interesting, especially if you like how to have like chill thoughts and everything. It's the ideas that I think every human should explore, at least like to see whether it works for them or not. Because you being an individual, like you have your own way of seeing God. It's like looking at this painting, and if 10 people are looking at it, we'll all see different kind of things. We're all looking at the same thing, but we see things as how they are, and sometimes they affect us. Our it's like give and take kind of thing. So yeah, it's like a lot of people in the East, they need to explore like West, what they are about, what they do what they do, and like how what good they're doing, what's working for them. I think if everybody see what works for them and what is good with them, like they would improve a lot. So like Taoism, like just be like curious like a child. That worked out for me, and if I'm childlike, I'm happy and I'm good. But when I become childish, that's when like my life messes up, and I say a lot of shit, man.
I mean, we're only human, I mean, I don't think, a religion. Maybe my thoughts are gonna probably change one day, but I think religion is a maintainer. It's kind of just like your creatine that you use, to maintain your workout. It's not gonna be like, all right, I'm done using my creatine. I'm at this goal in my life. I'm good. It's never. No, you need to consistently use it. I don't want to have to pray today because it's annoying me today. I don't want to, but you need it, and I think everyone's just looking for happiness. Like, we're looking to get to the top of that mountain. Nope, not going to reach that mountain. And I think back to your thoughts, like, people are very interesting to me. I mean, I look out my apartment. Sometimes I see these two old ladies. They just sit and smoke same time every morning, same time in the evening. And I'm like, yeah, we are very disciplined with our smoke schedule. It does, yeah. I mean, and so, I mean, that's their thing. They connect and stuff like that. But yeah, I think being curious, just like a kid. I mean, I love Joe Rogan. I think he says, his kids are very interesting. They ask you just questions, and they're like, that's fascinating, like they're asking questions. And because you're an adult, you feel like I don't need to ask any questions, or I don't need to be curious about things because I know everything. I mean, if you're going to be liberal, I feel like you should even have to listen to things that you don't want to have to listen to. Like, to be honest, there are some things in the Quran I was afraid to find, and it's because like I've been living my life a certain way, and I'm like, okay, if we're going to, make some changes, we're going to really have to like take everything here. We can't just pick and choose, because looking back at, my life, alhamdulillah, like I do have regrets. I shouldn't have done some of the things that I did, but I did do them, Are we done, Loki? Because you're shedding like crazy. But I don't want a repeat of some of those things. And so I have to really just be honest with myself. Well, do I want to continue that type of, mindset, and then just hope and like, and chase after what I want? Or I'm just like, okay, halas, like whatever is, meant for me will come. I'm trying not to push anything or stress about it because I'm tired. I'm really tired. So
The last line about like what's meant for me. So like before, I had a little bit of like clarity in my life when I was on autopilot. A lot of people told me a lot of things. I think people, when they meet me or get to know me, they know something about me that I don't. And sometimes I wondered like, why are they saying these good things to me? So these two of my mentors, whenever I needed help in different stages, they both said the same thing in a different way. One was this Indian Muslim guy, and he quoted like Ali. He said that if something is for you, and he said it in his way, and they speak in like a little Ebonics kind of like, I had to correct him like in a sophisticated way. Yeah, so this thing is like, if something is for you, no power in this world will be able to take it from you. And if something is not for you, you can put all the power in the world for that. You won't be able to get it. Yeah. And second one said the same thing in his own ways, like before time and whatever is for you, you know, you'll get it. Yeah. It's like everything has its time. When it's going to come, it's come. And how much you are supposed to get, you'll get it. So it goes for success, love, whatever you're trying to, but yeah, commit to that.
Yeah, I was going to say something, and it just came to me now. I think, the way humans are created, we need love, we need food, we need, validation, all these things. And I think the creator, knowing that his creation needs all these things, you're going to get it one way or the other. Either in 20 years, either in a few months, or in the next life. So, I mean, it's not like you're never going to get it, even though a lot of us, including myself, want it now. But it's just kind of saying like, okay, you know what? It's actually written that you're not going to get it in this life, because I think you have other things that you need to focus on. And so next life, inshallah, it'll be there waiting for you, And maybe for those of us that don't need to do much work, it's like, oh, it's already there for you. You didn't really need to do much work. So I think everyone's going to get what they need eventually. It's just timing, but all of us are so impatient and searching on apps and stuff. And then we're just exhausting myself. I've looked everywhere. I can't find it. I'm not meant to have anything. I guess I'm meant to be this way. I guess I'm meant to be unsuccessful. It's like, no, I mean, maybe you just need to change your route, excuse me. Yeah. I don't know. If you wanted to say anything to that.
No, it's it's just that we all have desires, but we cannot just pursue 10 of them at one time. Like you got to have a goal or two, like especially like one thing that you really want, and just go hard at it. But yeah, was it some Japanese proverb? It's just like, not every mountain is for you, not every peak is yours, something like that.
I like that.
So that's how I see it, like that. Maybe, maybe there's some other peak for you, and that has better view. Because I am like very thankful at this point in my life for everything that has worked out for me, and the things that they did not really work out for me. Because I probably would have got them, but I would not have been happy, or it would have made my life a living hell.
Yeah.
So where I am right now, I think that's how it was supposed to happen.
Oh yeah.
It just happened.
I believe it, Sasha.
My camera is fighting for its life. That's my phone too, bro. It's just not a camera.
I knew she was just like, you saw that.
Yeah, I think I was like in second grade. I was reading this book. It was like comic or something, or was it in my textbook? You know how children's, they have their small cartoons, and like, a small child figure that you can identify it with, and you're like, whatever you do. There was this Native American kid named Hiawatha. That really got my attention as a kid. Yeah, it was just like with his feathers and everything. He's playing and everything. It's like, whoa, look at Hiawatha. He has some cool headgear and everything. And I came to the U.S. in Minnesota, and I was like, there's Hiawatha over here. It's like, God damn it, dude. what are the odds, and like what are the? It's crazy. It's like, well, I guess like whatever that force is that brought me over here one way or another, good, bad, whatever, is like, the route it took, the journey it took. And not only like Hiawatha is over here, there's a statue of Hiawatha as well, but not a kid one, just like grown full adult was just doing something like this with his hand. Yeah, a lot of things that whatever I had read or like envisioned or everything, they came to me in one way or another. So I cannot be ungrateful. Like, even though I'm not where I'm in life, and like all the stuff that I do, I think it all worked out for me in my favor one way or another. Even the punishment that I would get from it's just, man, life. Problem with like people say like life is unfair. I would say no, it's not the problem that life is unfair. Life is not biased, and that's what gets you like very pissed off, because like it's like everything should be according to me. It's like, no, man, life is going to take its own course, and whatever you throw out there, it's gonna come to you. You keep making dumb choices, like it's all gonna come back to you. Like you make beautiful choices, like your life will be beautiful. So again, it's a very simple things. Like life is simple. Like you only have to take care of two, three things. That's it. But no, you want to have like gazillion things, and like why these things are happening to me. It's just like you want to take care of what you will do in life, where you're going to be, and what kind of people you will surround yourself with. That's and in between there's like improvisation, room for improvisation, but it's just as simple as like that. And I don't know. I think it was Confucius who said the same thing too. That life is simple, but we intend to make it complicated.
Um, I think I've had moments where I thought some things were unfair. I think I have those moments, but I don't know if maybe you were told that your entire life was already written out. I don't think you'd think it was unfair. You know. Yeah, I mean, if yeah, it's okay. Halas, it's written. What's going to happen in your life. It's just this is how your soul has to get to the point that it needs to. It's not that it's unfair. It's just Allah or whoever you want to say. This is how they made your world, and they know exactly what's going to happen. So I don't think it's unfair. It's just what you need to go through. I mean, I kind of feel sometimes embarrassed, or I used to, that like I'm divorced twice, but I think I have, my weakness is love. I have a weakness for falling in love and the romance and stuff like that. And so,
Just romance.
yeah, just romance. And the right romance, I guess that speaks to me. And, for years, I didn't know what type of romance I wanted, and I think anyone who gave it to me, I was like, okay, but then maybe perhaps in the back of my head, like there was a little voice that said that that's not the romance you want. But I guess because you're getting attention from a person you like, okay, this means it's good. And I think when the last couple of years, I think I realized that romance is my weakness. Then I'm like, all right, we need to make some decisions here. We need to stop doing certain things. We need to stop chasing romance and, just be halas. Like if I've gone through 2 divorces, I learned a lot about myself. There's I'm also at fault, so it wasn't all them. I was also part of the issue. And I guess that's just kind of how it had to go, for me to learn. And now I'm not divorced again or anything, but I'm learning, and so now I know what is my weakness, what's my kryptonite. I just need to be on alert, and be like, okay, there's this funny gif. It has like any man that comes near me and it just has a rock. I'm about to throw it at them. Yeah. Not all men are bad. No, but I think I just have a lot more to learn. So.
Yeah, man. Based on that, and based on my experiences and my observation, if I have to sum it up, like, man, we are all conditioned in the beginning, and we all get conned due to that condition. And yeah, you get conned by, like, you get programmed and conditioned by stuff, and then you snap out of it and see, like, real life is something else. These things were like programmed into me to believe through music, or like through movies, or to these things that like my parents told me, or like, because I would assume like all these things were true. It's like, no, man, people say one thing, they do another. So like, and it's important to get conned or like become stupid by that, but you have to snap out of it, and then like your new journey starts. Then you operate as yourself. That's the first thing. And a lot of times, like with love and everything, we confuse attraction with love. And also, like, there's a difference between attachment and connection. You can connect with somebody and, whatever exchanges you're supposed to do for a certain amount of time, long term, short term, you do it, and then eventually you part your ways. Like, whether it's like a partner that you have for 5 years or for your lifetime, eventually you'll have to disconnect with them. So it's just like who comes in and who goes out. You just have to zoom out a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I go for attraction first, and then if your personality sucks, I'm like, bye. Unless you're Pedro Pascal. Hala. I'll just say like ahlan wa sahlan.
Heard that term somewhere.
Ahlan wa sahlan?
Yeah.
Would
What does that mean?
It's just saying hi in Arabic.
Huh.
I don't know the exact translation, so I am totally a bad Arab here, half Arab.
No, that phrase or that sounded similar to me. There's this song that I heard when I was a kid, and it still should be on YouTube. And it's like it's one of those like Bible stories that I used to watch as a kid, and it was
Bible story named Ahlan wa Sahlan?
no. There's a song when who was born, like either in story for Abraham. There is like when either Isaac was born, who was the second guy from like Isaac or Ismail. One of those, like the tribe decides to, yeah, Isaac and Ishmael. Everybody would say their names differently according to stuff.
We say it the right way. We say it the right way.
I mean, sun is sun, moon is moon, and it's like they don't really have names. It's just we give them that stuff. So it's everybody have their version of their stuff, whatever they're doing.
Right. Everyone's wrong.
I mean, okay, man. Just like I said, like find the truth in the stories, not stories to be true, and everybody have their own side of story.
Yeah.
Gotta respect that. Yeah, but yeah, attachment and attractions, like those kind of things. It's like most important thing that I have realized is like it's really important to have clarity in your head and operate with clarity. Like if somebody, you gotta really see who people are, what they do, not what they're saying and what they're. No, people also fall in love with potential. I think everybody has that. You gotta see where they are in life, what they're trying to do, how much intensity, and like based on that, like sometimes you see that this person is on to somewhere. Like there's dedication in there. It's like not just like you can be and you're painting the picture. Stories again with the stories, like yeah, it's just like a portal. You're seeing that. Oh,
See my life.
hey man, that's everybody, man. Like I said, everybody gets conned.
I feel like it's biological for women. I feel like women are just really good because, like, I mean, we want to have children. Not that
I mean, men want to have it too. Men want to have something too, but we
we already like are 10 years down. Like this guy. But I was thinking about the thing that you said, conned. Yeah, I've conned myself. That's not being truthful with myself.
I was fooled. People make fools. People need fools. Like this world needs fools.
Food. Yeah, no, I've had to uncon myself, trying not to, that's being honest with yourself about what's your weaknesses. Some people is chocolate, me is love and cats. So I think one of my random biggest dreams is to find a cat outside of a grocery store that needs my help. It's a kitten, a helpless kitten. Because I see stupid videos of people finding kittens outside of outside a store, and they're like, we found this lost kitten going for a walk, and we found this kitten outside a grocery store, and now we're taking care of it. And I was like, you placed that kitten there.
You're trying to get the views.
I don't care about views. I just want to find a kitten.
No, not you about the views. It's like the people who are posting this. We find this and everything. It's like those people are creating the story to like get the views. It's like people are like that.
They've given me a really dumb expectation now.
Man, your life, you should expect something out of it. Do not look on others. You have your own path. You're walking towards it. Like, your life is a journey. People are doing their own thing. You cannot just stop at it and just like judge or do anything. Like even like romanticize. Like don't waste your time. Like just keep moving forward. Just know what you want. Like if you don't know what you want, then like do some soul searching. That's how I would say. And yeah, this latest realization also just came to me. It's just like, you keep attracting certain scenarios and certain people in your life if you are going to operate in a certain way. So might as well make your life beautiful. Take yourself somewhere where you see yourself. Just go to that place, and the people who are supposed to be with you or good for you will eventually find you. But if I'm not doing something better with my life, no better person will come in my life. I'm going to keep on attracting same kind of people. I'm going to have same sort of heartbreaks or like disappointments. So I don't see anybody bad either, but I feel like, there's a place that I should be or I should take myself. I need to make a place for myself. I need to make it beautiful. I need to live in that life. And whatever is there for me will find me. And I want to be in a place where I'm also taking care of people around me. I think that should be more of my mission. And, you know, I would say, like, if I would give some young people this advice, or anybody at this point, uh, balance these two phrases and keep moving forward in your life. One, you're somebody and you're meant to do something. Second is you're not all that and it's not all about you. Take yourself seriously, but in the larger picture, man, like everybody's doing something. Like, it's not all about you. Everything that's all about you is your life. And even at one point of time, when you reach to a level, it's not all about you either. Especially if you make it, if you reach to a height in life, then you are responsible for other people. You cannot just like, if you, I think a success is wasted if it's all about you and you are only the one who's enjoying it. You're supposed to give back to this world, change people's life in some other way. But yeah, two things that I'm going to say to myself now on is like, you're not all that and everything is not all about you, but you are somebody and you're going to do something in this world. So just like, I'm going to balance it and just go. Otherwise, like, either you're going to have bad self-esteem or you're going to have a super crazy ego. You got to balance that. You might not be able to maintain a perfect balance, but, you'll be doing something right.
I don't think it's random that, you're born, I was born. I think if it's really hard to get that in your head because it feels like there are a lot of random things in our life. And so it's like, I'm not important, it's just all random. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the most important thing to you. Yeah. Nobody's going to love you more than you love yourself. I'll say this. Besides the dog. Yeah. I don't think a lot of the things, I mean, this is a recent belief, and maybe again it'll change. I mean, as I learn about myself and just my religion or, culture and stuff, there was, I don't believe that everything is random. I don't think it's a coincidence. It's the CEO is at the top and he's basically pretty aware of what's going on down in the company. And I mean, if he was intervening, I think you'd probably see that. So, I mean, he's well aware of what's going on. So he's just letting things happen. I was actually at the gym and I got a call I didn't know if I needed to head back to the office, which was just at home, to exit out of an application that I didn't fully exit out of. And I was like, oh, okay, do I have to leave, because I'm like halfway through my workout. I really don't want to leave. But then I was like, okay, fine, I'll leave. And then on my way driving back, I saw this person riding their bike to the gym. And it's a person I've been trying to avoid because I just don't. There's some people I'm like, just don't talk to me. And I was like, oh, well, this worked out well. I'm going back to my apartment just to like exit out of an application, on my computer that I guess I thought I exited out of, but I didn't. And then it just so happens the person I'm trying to avoid, interactions with at the gym. Not that there's anything, romantically there. It's just, I don't like some people they talk to me and I'm just like, I'm trying to finish my workout here and I'm too nice to say, can you go away, please? So I didn't really think that was random. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But yeah, no. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or, Yeah.
Yeah, like I would say this thing that you mentioned about like, things being coincidental or random. Like a lot of things, like if you want to make sense out of something, you will make a sense out of it. It's like, again, it's the story that you want to tell. This world runs on that. That's what unites this world. All stories, everybody living it, and they're willing to kill for their story too. Um, but yeah, in larger picture, it's like, yeah, we all matter somewhere. Not just because. And also, I mentioned it in one of my posts, just because somebody or something is of no use to you, that does not mean they're useless. They're doing something, man. Just me being like a very hot-headed person, and I have a very sensitive heart in a way, so I'm always in this conflict. But and I say a lot of mean stuff, and then I regret it, or like I snap and then I regret it. So this is something that I'm trying to also balance. But yeah, things happen how they're supposed to happen, or they ended up being in your favor. It all depends on you. Like me, being in Minnesota, it's like me meeting some people. Sometimes I think like, if I would have focused on this thing at a childhood, I probably would have been better. But then again, like I needed those embarrassing moments. I needed some of those rock bottoms and all those things, so that if or whenever something good happens to me, like I will not be a prick. That's number one thing. It's like, just I don't tell people like to be nice. I hate this term, like be nice and everything. Just don't be a prick. Like whatever is there in your personality, that's nice. Like just don't be mean to people. You don't have to be pleasing or anything. Just take it nicely. Like don't be a prick. Like give people no shit, take no shit, stand up for yourself. That I have always been about that. But yeah, I was a prick. Like that one thing was in my equation that got me getting boycotted as a kid. And like yeah, that's like, again, like meditating is just like, if I can go back and tell this young me, it's like, yeah, man, just don't be a prick. Stand up for yourself and give people no shit either. Like,
Joe Rogan, I think I remember him saying in his podcast that he's like, I do all this exercise and all this stuff, like this torture myself, like the cold plunges. He's like, if I didn't do any of that, I'd be a mean person. And like, that's a good point. He's like, yeah, I'm so nice because of all this. But maybe he's also just a nice person in general. But yeah, I'm nice to my own detriment. Especially when I'm trying to have a workout and people are just like talking and I'm just like, sometimes the conversation is good, but sometimes I'm just like, I need to finish this workout. I'm actually planning, I'm going to try, I'm going to have a t-shirt that says, if you are not Pedro Pascal, do not talk to me.
what is that?
If you're not Pedro Pascal, don't talk to me.
What is Pascal?
Pascal. Hello, Pedro Pascal.
Oh, Pedro. I heard paid your Pascal, and I thought like Pascal is some sort of an acronym for some sort of Pedro Pascal. Yeah, like whatever. Like I am me, man. Screw him. I'm me. I'm amazing. If you don't like it, hey man, work on your standards. Like that was just a joke. But yeah, I'm me, and just like everybody's amazing in their ways, just not for us. Um, I need to go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay. I don't know if you wanted to pause it. Can you pause it from there? So, yeah, so I have soccer in about an hour and 40 minutes. Not looking forward to it. I don't know why I do know why I started this. So, yeah, it's just to get out of my comfort zone. Soccer in about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes. Not looking forward to it. I don't know why I do know why I started this. So, yeah, it's just to get out of my comfort zone. Like, I think Huberman says do hard things, and so I'm like, all right, I'll do soccer as much as I hate it right now.
I like that you mentioned this term comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know how many times I gotta say it, but I was meditating on this too. So I would say, like, we need to have like a little bit balanced view on things. Do not like villainize something, or do not like glamorize something too much, because I think everybody should aspire to have something that gives them comfort. You know, you want to have a nice cozy home. Why? Because you want to come back to somewhere. You want to have comfortable shoes, clothes, bed, everything, even in your relationship. It's discomfort that you should also address.
Yes.
The moment you start to feel discomfort, that is the sign that you need to do something and expand on your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, like you're wearing like a kid wearing like comfortable clothes, but he's also a growing kid. Eventually, he has to get bigger clothes that fit him because he's growing.
But
So his
maybe-
comfort zone is gonna.
But maybe he should actually wear keep his like clothes smaller because it's uncomfortable, and just like suck it up. It's uncomfortable. Embrace it. Your clothes are smaller, but you're bigger. Too bad. Embrace it.
Man, it's like I said, like, discomfort is the sign that you have to change.
Yeah.
Change anything.
Yeah.
Like change your situation, change your job, your relationship, or anything. If you can fix it, fix it. But I would say, like, if you're comfortable where you are in life, cool. If you don't have anything too much expectation, you like it where you are, cool. But the moment you start feel like, why, I just like, man, you gotta address it. You cannot sulk in it. It's gonna depress you. Expand your comfort zone, or take yourself where, like, it's new comfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gonna be something else after that, but expand. Like, expand your territory, like that same way.
Yeah.
It's like, I really like where I live. Like, if you like where you are living right now, but at one point of time you're like, I cannot stand this place, da 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 da. I have so much stuff, or like people around me are not good, or like the environment is not good. It's gonna cause you discomfort.
Yeah.
You can either like get used to it, become sad, and like keep living that life, or be like, I'm gonna find like a new home, like a new comfort zone, better than this, maybe bigger than this, if not small.
Yeah.
Or just like this, but you're gonna find a new. It's like, like how you change your clothes accordingly, change yourself accordingly. If a challenge comes, just like embrace it and like change with it. Same with like,
Yeah.
it's good to be comfort, but you cannot just stay there.
Yeah. No, it's.
I love my bedroom, but I don't want to stay there all the time.
No.
I love to be in my PJs. I don't want to stay there all the time.
No,
I don't wear tight clothes, but if I have to go out, I have to wear these, pants and everything instead of sweatpants. I mean, I wish I could go. At one point of time, I was just like going out in my PJs and everything nearby to convenience store and everything.
Yeah.
Like, what do you call that corner store?
It's a convenience store. Or
Yeah, convenience store.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bodegas and everything owned by Arabs and Indian guys. I would just, at one point in time, I was just going in my pajamas.
Yeah, there's no shame in doing that.
Yeah, it was like until like this neighbor of mine mentioned that. Like, I always wonder who's this guy in his onesies.
I don't even have a onesie.
I mean, I don't even think it was like a onesie. It's just like a normal pajama. But then again, it's like, it's not like I'm going out in my boxers.
No, yeah, just whatever.
I was in my comfort zone.
Yeah, whatever you felt comfortable with, at the time. I mean, yeah, I also went to Target. I think COVID was actually perfect. I got to go and like slum it when I went to Target during COVID. I'm like, no one will know. And then I think I turned around, someone's like, Khadija, and I'm like, damn it. Like, I don't know. With soccer, I think the first time I did it, the first day I was nervous. And like I'm on the field, and it's just me and a bunch of my dad, older men, and I'm like the only woman there. I think there was one woman.
So both Saturday, Sunday?
No, it's just Sundays.
Today's Sunday?
Yeah, today's Sunday,
Oh,
right?
true.
I hope I didn't miss a game,
I
or else
zoned
my
out.
dad would have texted me, but Khadija, where are you?
I got so much into it and I so zoned out. Also, not to mention like the frustration I got from like setting up these mics.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
No, I mean that is fine, but it did take away my energy.
Yeah, no. I got actually like, I think in the middle of the game, and everyone's like not shouting at me in a really rude way, but like they're telling me what to do, and I don't know any of these phrases and stuff. I almost felt like I wanted to cry and just get off the field. I was like, I don't want to be here. This is dumb. I want to go home and watch Netflix. This sucks. But there was one weekend where I did play by myself. My dad wasn't there because he was attending a wedding. But thankfully, my sister Luda, she came along to watch, and I was like, I didn't even ask her. She just like, hey, I can come watch a game, and I was like, oh, alhamdulillah, I'm not doing this alone.
Yeah, I mean, expanding on your comfort zone. If challenges comes, take on them, move to the next level.
I think
Sometimes you have to like intentionally challenge yourself,
Yeah.
because don't wait for like just outer challenge, or just like go out and explore. Something challenging will come. You just take it. Like my mom says, like whenever I'm like getting super stressed out or something, whenever I have to do slightest of thing, I just go mad, and she's like, take it as a task.
Yeah. I think if you want to do something outside your comfort zone, if you want to do it, and I think if you just think about the intention that you want to do behind it, it's not just to get brave or whatever, but it's like trying to get better at baking bread, Just like you're not trying to like sell bread or anything like that. You're just doing it.
Just want to be better.
Yeah, if it's just a very sincere.
Do something that's better.
It's still hard. It doesn't make it any less hard, but it makes it easier to do it. When you understand your intention behind it and hopefully it can be sincere.
Yeah, well, gotta keep on pushing yourself, finding new things, new territories to explore, be better at, challenging yourself. There are like so many things that I wanted to talk about, but I know like for next one,
Yeah.
I really have to prepare and figure things out. But I think I've done a pretty okay job for the very
Yeah.
first one. There's also like one book that I have to give it to you, because I think like that'll be of like good use to you.
What is
Again,
it?
when it comes, I'll give it to you. I don't have it with me, but it's on my list. I read a lot. Sometimes I don't finish books, but here and there I pick. And I think one reason it will be good for you, because it will give you like a good insight. It's like, take it as like self-coaching and like preparing yourself on how to like go out and about in the world, how to take care of your life, how to just like, how basically just operate yourself.
Yeah.
Because like, there's wisdom in everything you learn, but at the end of the day, it's you. It's like your inner self, your mind, whatever your mind tells you, your body does it. That's basically it is. Like
Yeah.
your mind is the coach, your body is your MVP, your star player, whatever. You just gotta give it the best of ideas, like best of food. Actions have to be the best too in order to get the best results.
Yeah.
So whenever I give it to you, I want you to like put every other book aside for a while and just like pay attention to that, because I feel like it will that way it will help you better.
Yeah.
And just go a little bit easy on it. And like I said, like the more closer and cleaner you are to yourself, closer you will be to God, and you'll have a good relationship with your Elohim. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I hope you have fun at soccer. Thank you so much for doing this, the very first one. You are my first one.
Yay. Thank you for having me. Yay. This is fun. Okay,